Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I go by Microbiologist Makes here on YouTube as well as over on Instagram. This is my Flosstube channel where I talk about cross stitch and then my other hobbies, including crochet, knitting, thrifting. This is Flosstube number 10. Welcome back to all my returning subscribers and anyone who's stumbling across my channel for the first time. Thank you for checking it out and I hope you'll stick around. This is my wrap up of October, the month of October 2023, which is overdue. I was supposed to film, I at least tried to film at the end of the month, and October for me was a whirlwind. It was super busy, lots of fun things happening, and I actually only ended up stitching for about 2 of the 4 weeks in the month. So I've touched a lot of different things, so you'll see a lot of whips. I did managed to pull out one finish, which I'm not really sure how that happened, but I had one finish and a couple new starts. So what happened? Well, first off, on the academic side of things, submitted a paper, which is exciting, to a journal. So it's under peer review currently. Haven't heard or gotten comments back yet, but that was pretty monumentous for me anyway in my PhD career. So submitted a paper. Then my brother got married in Telluride, Colorado, in the second week of October. So our family took a road trip out and we saw a couple national parks in Utah. We went to Arches. We didn't get to go to Bryce Canyon, but we sort of drove through like the outskirts of it. Capitol Reef. Haven't retained much of this. Capitol Reef, and then like spent some time in Moab, Utah. It was beautiful, and I'm seriously missing the mountains hardcore. And then Telluride itself was also gorgeous. Conquered my fear of heights by riding the gondola up the mountain. Actually down the mountain was a lot scarier. That was fun. I scoured Telluride for any knitting or cross stitch stores because it seemed like it was like the prime opportunity or like the place for something like that to be. Sadly didn't find anything. There was one store that sold like local yarn from alpaca yarn, but they were pretty much sold out by the time I got around there. There was only a couple skeins and it was just black yarn. I wasn't super interested, but yeah, had a great time. I'll either put some pictures in here while I'm talking or maybe at the end of the video if you're interested. I hit up one thrift store in Omaha on the way home, and otherwise it was just like nonstop driving. We get out there pretty fast, but we got to see so many cool things, and yeah, repping Telluride here today. I got some sweatshirts because that's my thing. And yeah, it was an amazing time. Oh, and then most recently, just this past weekend, today is November 6th. Or 7th, yes, November 7th, when I'm filming. But this past weekend, I went to a conference. The American Society of Microbiology had a regional conference at the school where I actually went to undergrad. So I went to that, and I gave an oral presentation, and I won first place in the graduate student category, which was such an honor and very exciting. So not expected. So that was really exciting and it was a great experience. I got to connect with lots of people and share my research, which is always a good time. So now that I've sort of discussed my reasoning for not being around much on YouTube or Flosstube, I also am very sad to say that I haven't watched very much Flosstube, so I don't have any recommendations this week to talk about. I need to catch up with my favorites. I've seen Marjorie Maid has a new video, Cross Stitch Kate, New Hampshire Stitcher, and of course Canvas Stitcher. So I definitely have those on my watch list. I just need to record tonight after work, and so that I can get onto those, watching those lovely people. But I'd like to start today with the giveaway. I need to pull a winner for that. So I was doing a giveaway at the beginning of October or the end of September when I filmed last, for a $25 gift card to sort of an online needlework centric website of your choice. I would ideally like to support a small business, so Top Knot Stitcher Shop, but I'm also very happy to send you a gift card as well to Etsy or 123 Stitch, or also if you have a online needlework store that you have would like to support, I can work things out that way too. So I pulled a winner right before filming, and I will pop their name up on the screen. Please reach out to me. I have finally set up an email account for my page, and it's microbiologistmakes@gmail.com. The address will be in the drop-down box. So reach out to me, and if I haven't heard from you before the next time I film, which will hopefully be at the end of November, then I will redraw. But again, thank you to all of you who commented and used the word science so creatively. I loved reading through your responses, and yeah, very grateful to all of you, and I'm sad I can't give you all a gift card. All right, let's talk about my FO, my one finished object. Not fully finished, but it is a finish. So that's what we're taking, what we can get here. This is Sleeping Fox by NeedleLotDesigns, and this is on a 28 count even weave that I dyed myself. I guess you can see a glare of a light peeking through. All called for DMC. It's so cute. All those details are amazing. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to finish it into a little like sort of pendant banner thing. I'm envisioning like a actual stick to hold this off of, so I'll tie in that woodland theme. We'll see if I can execute that, but hopefully that can be finished by the end of the month, fully finished. Then I mentioned I had 3 new starts. My first is actually very close to a finish, and it's still in the Q-snap because I'm hoping I can get this done tonight. And they have a needle hanging off the back, so I have to be careful about that. There's a stitch-along going on for the Witchy Stitcher, and who's facing some health struggles right now. And so in solidarity, this wonderful community started a commemorative day to buy a pattern from this designer, or multiple patterns, and stitch along in honor of them. So I chose Poisonous Plants by the Witchy Stitcher. I thought this would complement my Greenhouse of Oddities really well, and I'd like to sort of hang them together. So this will be framed. That's how I'm picturing this to be finished. And I have all of the plants stitched, still in the Q-snap, like I said. I'm working on the back stitching of the different plant names, which I should not have left for the end, but here we are. So I originally thought I would do this, or that I would stitch them, back stitch the names with 1 strand of DMC. This is on a 32 count, Fabrics by Stephanie in Slate. And I thought that 1 strand of the back stitch you'd be able to like see the loops and the cursive better, but I should have just trusted the designer and gone with 2 because I had to back stitch over Moonflower again, because 1 strand was just not popping enough. So my cursive back stitch leaves a lot to be desired, but I think you can read them for the most part. So yeah, there's lots of it's amazing how much detail you can get just from like the few number of stitches that are in each of these plants. So it's all my favorite colors, green, pink. Really enjoying this and hoping to finish tonight. I started this on October 1st for Witchy Stitcher Day, and I've loved every minute of it. My next new start was one I took with us. This is gonna be where it gets chaotic because I have everything that's not in a project bag or doesn't have a fancy project bag shoved in this bag that the zipper is broken. but they're all projects I hope to finish relatively soon, so I don't want to get a designated project bag for them. Makes no sense, but anyway, I took this on our trip to Telluride, and I thought I could stitch in the car possibly because it's 28 count even weave. That didn't happen. I stitched one night in the hotel and I got like the tip of an owl's head done, which I'll show you. And then I added a few more stitches once I got home, but this is Heart in Hand Harvest Tiny Town. I've done the Patriotic and the Valentine's. I was gonna do Spooky Tiny Town hopefully this year, but that didn't work out. So I started this on a piece of 28 count even weave that I dyed myself. And I'm doing sort of a color conversion. I have two of the classic color works. I think I have Barn Door and Colonial Copper, and the rest I did not have. So I'm just using Coloring Cottons, DMC, something that's similar basically, but here's what I have. So yeah, I just had the little owl done at the top, or half of him, by the time we got back from our trip. That was all I had done. So I'd like to finish this month as well. I think these stitch up pretty fast for me, so I think I got the other ones done in a little over a week. So I think that's doable, but it's really cute. I'm excited to get to the little mushrooms under the tree are my favorite details. I love that moon with the, what I'm assuming are birds, could be bats, flying across the moon. I think this is my favorite of the tiny towns. So far anyway. I know there's more coming. And then my my third start is not much of a start. I got excited about starting this for Halloween, but I didn't have much time to stitch around Halloween because I was practicing my presentation like a crazy person. But this is Spooky Teapot by the Tiny Modernist. And I'd like to finish this this month as well. I'm realizing how ridiculous this sounds. I need to pare down on my expectations. But this is on a piece of 36 count. Oh, good, there's a sticker. Time Goes By Seraphim Fabrics. I'm using all the called for DMCs. I'll put in a picture of the pattern. I saw this just before Halloween, and this is all I have done. Didn't even stitch on this around Halloween. But I'd like to have it done because it should be out next year. And if I stick to my pattern of only stitching in the seasons, it won't be done next year. So I just need to finish it this fall. I want to make it into a little pillow. So I love this fabric. It's showing up really green here. It's a little less green, but it does have definitely that greenish hue to it. And it's awesome. I made a friend with a raven in Arches National Park. So I'll show you a picture. Yeah, I got to get really close without endangering the raven, of course, or myself, because their beaks are, man, huge. A lot bigger when you're just a few feet away. So that's sort of a little commemorative. I'll always think of my raven friend. I stitch that. Right, and then getting into widths. I'll go in order of that I worked on them to the best of my ability here. This is Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery on a piece of 28 count Rit dyed fabric. I dyed myself. I'm using all the called for DNCs, pulling a few colored cottons for the trees to get some variegation in there. And I had plans to finish this by Thanksgiving. I'd still like to do that, but I got off on my goals because I did not stitch for 2 weeks. So I'm about 4,000 stitches behind that goal, I think. I needed to do, no, it'd be more like 2,000 because I need to do a little over 1,000 stitches a week to be done with this by Thanksgiving. So I could buckle down and get this done, or get caught up at least. But yeah, I'm working on the top half, working bottom up, which is outside of my normal. I usually start in the top left-hand corner, but I wanted to avoid that sky that's at the top. So I'm working my way up. I put in those houses, those 3 houses, I think. And yeah, I think I have 2 houses left. I'm definitely, although who's counting really? I definitely am. They're a big solid chunk of stitching. But yeah, I don't know if this will be done by Thanksgiving or not. I'm gonna stop saying that I want it to be done this month because that's already just sounding unrealistic. Okay, then the next has some pitiful progress. I think it's less than 500 stitches. I don't have progress pictures this time either. Last time I thought I could pull that off, and now I'm just like, who am I kidding? That's too much work. So big props to anyone who includes progress pictures in their videos. That is no small feat. So here is my full coverage piece, or one of them. I have a couple on the go. This is Settling In. The artwork is by Dunn, charted by Paine Free Crafts. I'm stitching this on 25 count even weave, 1/1 full cross. I'm working on my second page, filling it in slowly but surely. I wanted to have a page finish. That didn't happen. But I think I am close. So probably around 1,000 stitches off from a page finish. And it's really just the stonework in the back of the fireplace. It was getting to me a little bit. I think in the next page I get to stitch a lantern. So that's exciting. I want to get to the badger really bad, but it will be a long ways off because I'm going to work across the top. But I think it's shaping up pretty nicely. I only got like 200 stitches in that this month. I'm stuck in like a sea of browns, basically. My next whip is The Pumpkin House by Hello from Liz Mathews. Apologize for all the plastic this video. I usually like to take my projects out of the bags before I show them, so to get rid of that, but didn't happen today. This is The Pumpkin House by Hello from Liz Mathews. This was released at Needlework Marketplace this year, and it's called For to be Stitched with 2 pieces of fabric. I dyed a singular piece of 32 count linen, like dip dyed, to have this sky and the grass, or yeah, landscape part on the same piece to avoid stitching those 2 together. And I'm using the DMC, not the NPI conversion. And I filled in a little more of this. I'm starting on the pumpkins at the bottom. I'm saving the best for last, which is the house. And here's where she is, very wrinkled. Ooh, very wrinkled. I finished the vines. I think I had shaped most of that black border out before, but then I'm adding some pumpkins in now. So that's a fun one to work on. I'll keep this out, I think, through November, although I'm itching to get started on some Christmas stitching too. And I'm sure I will not be able to resist much longer. Okay, and then my next is Dark Golden Delicious by the Artsy Housewife. This is on a piece of 40 count linen that I dyed myself. And I'm using the called for over-dyed cottons, which are really cool colors that I did not have going into this, so I had to buy all of those. There's some classic colorworks, I think, some gentle arts, just colors that I've never used. I like bright colors, but I tend to not stitch with them so much. But this design, the borders are phenomenal, so very happy to have those now. And this is my progress so far. I'm working down the border before I started on the fun house, and my laptop almost fell. The fun house and apple tree in the center. Those borders, or those little wagon wheels, I don't know what to call them, sort of quilt stars, I don't know, are a lot of stitches, over 500 for each. So it doesn't feel like a lot of stitching, but it is a lot of stitching. And I want to go across the bottom if I can stand it much longer, and just get that border done, because I know myself, if I leave it till last, I really will not ever do it probably. So that's where I'm at on that whip. The next one I touched was, let's see, in my mushroom bag. One of many. Oh, this is a bag. Mushroom bag is Autumn Cloche, again by Hello from Miss Mathews. We'll see if it looks okay through the glare. I'm sure you all know what this looks like. Lots of people are stitching it. I'm stitching this on 40 count Grandpa's Sleeve by XG Designs, and I'm using a couple of the call for DMCs, but then pulling color and cottons from my stash as well, because I'm in the Thread of the Month Club. So that works out pretty well. I think the last time I showed you this, I had just finished that big orange pumpkin, and I started to fill in part. Oh man, I'm balancing my laptop very precariously on my knee, which is a bad idea. I have parts of the butterflies that I started to fill in, and I think I did that littler mushroom. Didn't get as far as I wanted to on this. I am inclined to put it away for the season just because there's so many other fall whips I have that I want to get a lot farther on, and I'm very happy to have this as like a long-term whip because it's just so beautiful, and it's one of those ones that I would be sad to finish, but I also wanted to have more to show for this year because I haven't gotten that much done on it. But we'll see. There's also so many more things I'd like to start, which is I should start making a list here because I forget and then bounce back and forth. Okay, and then my last whip is, let's see, major crinkling going on. Sampler Seasons Autumn by Blueberry Ridge Design, which also came out at Marketplace. And I got a little bit more put into this, not a ton. I'm stitching this on 40 count Mayflower by Fox and Rabbit, and stitching this with color and cotton Sweet Potato, which is a really variegated orange to brown thread. Here's where I am now. I think before I had the alphabet, the border, a cup of coffee or hot chocolate, the cherries, and then this time I finished in this basket of berries and started that pumpkin. Thought I could get farther, but it is a big pumpkin, so that seems to be a trend. I really like this thread color on this fabric. It's really pretty, and I have a pattern that I got in when we get to our haul section that reminds me a lot of this pattern that I'd also like to start, but I feel like I should finish this sort of Quaker fall design first before starting another. I don't know. It can be swayed. Oh, got this my mom gave this to me. She ordered from Colorado, cross stitcher. Which is one of my favorite shops to order from online. Haven't yet been to her shop. I was hoping possibly we might go through Fort Collins on our out west trip, but that was not the case. And we didn't really have time to, even if we were going through the area. So that's definitely a destination for another time. In terms of plans, I don't really have anything that I want to for sure commit myself to. I would like to get out some Christmas whips in the month of November because I feel if you wait until December, there's just like not enough time. So I'd like to pull out some of my Christmas whips. We'll see which ones those will be. I have quite a few. And I do plan on going to the Jingle Ball. So I hope to get myself to go to more of the Zoom sessions this time, or what do they call them, stitching rooms this time. Last time I was definitely a little shy about that, so I'm really excited to this time. So I haven't signed up for any classes at this point. I don't know if they're all sold out. I know there's like some PDF options that theoretically should not have sold out. So I may sign up for one of those, may not. We'll see. In terms of haul, I have some exciting things to share because I got to visit Welcome Stitchery in Blue Earth, Minnesota. Got to meet Justine, and she's so nice. Exactly how she comes across in her in the Welcome Stitchery Flosstube videos. and her shop is amazing. My mom and I visited together and we're digging through patterns, and it's so much fun. So I got definitely got some haul from that. It's in a giant bag, so excuse the sound again. I first up got, this is the Autumn Quaker pattern that I was referencing earlier by Primrose Cottage. I fell in love with this. I know Colorado Cross Stitcher did a conversion where it has multiple thread colors in one. I think I would do it all in one color because I have this perfect square rusty orange frame. So I'm thinking of stitching this up yet this fall season, possibly. It doesn't look massive, but yeah, happy to have that. And then, let's see, I got a Blackbird chart, which is Casting a Spell. It's a booklet, and I actually got the box for this too from Hobby Lobby. And I really want to start this year too, even though we're outside of Halloween now. But those little, they just look so satisfying to stitch up for one. They're not huge. Doesn't have a lot of thread colors. I didn't get any of the called for because I figured just I could find different shades of orange, black, gray in my stash. I did get, they had a piece of the called for gray by Weeks Dye Works. So it was like a little off piece cut there that I got. And then I ordered another fat quarter from 123 Stitch. So yeah, everybody knows what that looks like, probably. And I got that. So I think I might start some of those. It could just be a standing whip until next Halloween. I feel like that would be really easy to finish by next Halloween. And then I kitted up another pattern for Christmas. And that is Heartstring Samplery. It must have been the Mistletoe. I don't know why I hadn't seen this chart before. It just, oh, I should take it out of the plastic. I love the band sampler look of it. It seems to be like an older chart. An older design. Doesn't have a year. But it's one of those where like the actual picture is, you know, printed and taped to the front of the pamphlet. So it has this verse in there that says, "It must have been the mistletoe, the lazy fire and falling snow, magic in the frosty air that made me love you." I think I'll cut off the "made me love you" part because I am painfully single. Not painfully, because I'm single. So I'll just bump that up. And yeah, I picked up for this 3 skeins of Camouflage by Classic Colorworks. It's like a very light green. And then I got an Atomic Ranch fabric for this. And it's 40 count. Let's see, it doesn't have a name. It just says LE. But I thought this would be really pretty. Kind of looks brown right now in this lighting. Don't you just love daylight savings? Because now it's pitch black outside when I film and I look super washed out and I can't tell if the colors are accurate. But yeah, it's like a pale green on a nice neutral tan. I thought that'd be pretty. I definitely like to decorate more with greens than reds for Christmas. And then the last project I sort of semi-kitted, I got a piece of fabric for it, and the threads I'm going to use the called for DMC, I think mostly, and then probably pull some color and cottons. This is a pattern probably everyone is familiar with by the Blue Flower, and that is Moonlight Sampler. I'm not going to try to take this one out of the plastic because it's really sealed. So sorry. But I love the possum, the badger. I'll probably retread the dog to look like mine. I'm not really a cat person myself, so I probably would leave that off and add maybe a different woodland creature. I love, oh yeah, the barn owl too. Ooh, can't get over that. So I love the call for fabric for that, but I thought I took the opportunity being at such an amazing shop to just look through her fabric to see if there was anything that was similar. And I found this piece of Be Stitch Me. There's going to be some major crinkling here because Brandy seals the fabric in like this plastic envelope. I got a piece of 40 count Catacombs by Be Stitch Me. And I think it will be perfect for this pattern. Oh, it's like a purpley green gray. I don't know. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's so cool. I think this might have been a fabric of the month, possibly. At least I've heard people talking about this. I'm not in Be Stitch Me's fabric anymore. I had to cut down. But I think that will look really cool. I think it's close enough that I won't have trouble with any of the shades of brown or green blending in. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm thinking possibly a New Year, new start. I'm really excited now that I have this in mind to actually start it. So if anyone else has this on their list, hit me up because I would love company in stitching that. I think that's all I got at Welcome Stitchery. The next, which is a phenomenal shop. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If you're ever in the area, definitely stop. And the next piece of haul is knitting related, or crochet. Could be crochet, but I'm gonna knit with this. There's a yarn store in Blue Earth, and I wanted to make this colorwork cowl. I pop in a picture. I think it's Hunt Handmade Knits, and it's a colorwork cowl. I took a colorwork class at my local yarn store. I think it was in October, and now I want to start all the colorwork projects. So yeah, there's this lunar like phases of the moon cowl that I think would look really great with this particular yarn I picked out. These are both DK weight. This one is by Leading Men Fiber Arts, and the color is, actually they're both by Leading Men Fiber Arts. They just have different sort of logos. This one is called Smoke on the Water. It's a DK weight, 100% superwash merino. It's like a steely blue, sort of. And then the darker color, which I'll use for like the background in that cowl, is also by Leading Men Fiber Arts, and the colorway is Don't Fear the Reaper. So I think that will look really cool together. I just need to finish up my existing projects before I cast this on. But I'm really looking forward to that. I think that was all I had really for haul. Well, kind of. When I get into my yarn segment next, we'll talk a little bit more about haul acquisitions. But so in terms of crochet, I did finish an entire sweater while we were on our trip to the wedding. I cast this on as we were backing out of the driveway to leave, and then literally put in the last stitches in the sleeve while we were taking the exit to get home. So start to finish, this is the Chainette turtleneck by I'll have to put in the designer name. I've done lots of her patterns before. This is a raglan style sweater, and I have not woven in the ends, so I haven't tried this on either. Maybe watch my Ravelry page, which is linked below if you're interested. Hopefully I'll get my act together and have that up as a final post soon. But this is crocheted with Grand Canyon, colorway Grand Canyon, line brand Heartland. It's like their national parks brand, national parks colorway of yarn. I should have done like the Bryce Canyon one, but that one was a little too orange for me. But yeah, raglan style sweater, nice long turtleneck, which I fold over when I would wear it, otherwise I'd be choked. And it's nice and oversized, and I think it'll be really cozy. I don't think you'd have to wear something underneath this because the stitches are so dense. I forget what they call this stitch, but you just alternate double crochet, single crochet, and just in the round, and it makes this really cool pattern. So that was a finish. And my only piece of crochet, because I've gotten hard into knitting again. which is good because I have some whips that just need to be done at this point. An example would be what I'm about to show you next, which is the Pressed Flowers shawl by Christoffers. I am like 10 rows away or 20 rows away from finishing this. I'm on the border, which now that I say that, it sounds like it sounds like a lot. The rows are taking quite a while because you increase by 4 stitches every other row. But this is just a mosaic knit pattern. So you're working with one color at a time. It's really nice. I'm on the border. It's hard to gauge how big this is, or if it's like, I feel it feels small, but we'll see. I'm just ready to be done with this. If it's small, it's a small cowl or shawl. I don't care. This is knit with DK weight yarn in Bracco Vintage DK, using like a rusty gold color and a white. So there she is, and hopefully I will have this done within the week, possibly. I think if I keep doing 2 rows a night, that I can be done by Saturday. That's not sounding, the math isn't sounding right there, but fairly soon if I keep up with it. And then I did have a start on the road, and we were driving to the wedding, and here's my first piece of extra knitting haul that I prefaced. So I bought 2 yarn project bags because I just didn't have any, and my mom and I sew the cross-stitch bags that I show, but we haven't gotten into yarn project bags yet. I know Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch has a tutorial out for a drawstring bag, which I might have to convince my mom to practice with. But here we have one I got off of Etsy. I'll link the store. It's a really phenomenal seller, and I very much recommend you check out the other bags that they have. So it's like a mushroom print, and then the base is like this sort of canvasy. It's very thick, durable material. It has a single strap so you can hook it across your wrist if you'd like, and yeah, drawstring. So this is the Montana Cowl by Andrea Mowry. Maybe I'll just put in a picture because that was very reflective. And I'm knitting this in 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. Believe it was Malabrigo, and the colors are Geppetto and Chocolate Amaretto. So I got a decent amount. I started this just as we were leaving for vacation, and I have a few of the repeats done. You have to do, I think, 21 repeats, and I'm at like 5. This is again the mosaic slips, like, so you slip stitch the color that you're not currently working with, and I love it. I do like color work now too, like stranded color work, but this mosaic was sort of how I was introduced to color work, and it's definitely my preference right now. So I was excited to cast this on. It's worked in the round, and then you twist once and then seam together. So these are on a, what is that, a provisional cast on, these stitches at the bottom, and with a contrasting color yarn. And so you then use that, I think, the Kitchener stitch to then attach the sort of the tube. So it's like an infinity scarf situation. That one's just fun to stitch on, so I'm not considering like when I will be done with it at this point. I'm just happy to be here for the moment. Okay, and then the last knitting project I have is the Doodle Cowl. And this was part of a class that I took on stranded color work. So it's by Pacific Knit Company. There are like a holiday versions, like an under the sea version, an autumn version with mushrooms. So I will definitely be doing more of these in the future. This is my other project bag. I will link the Etsy seller in the description box. It's little mice eating strawberries and little mushroom print on the bottom. And this is the extra large size bag, so it fits I have 3 colors of yarn in this, and I think it could fit a sweater, honestly. So happy to have this bag. Also an amazing Etsy seller. If I have the extra they sent me, I got this little notions pouch with it, with Halloween fabric, and there's like little animals trick-or-treating, and that was just included for free. It's so nice. So awesome Etsy sellers. And I got into like the first pattern of the color work that you essentially just like, it's like a pick your own adventure thing. They have like 10 different or more than 10 probably, a lot of different band patterns that you just pick from, and you just build your cowl. So this is in the round, and I have sort of my first pattern going here, and I'm using 3 colors of yarn at this point, but just 2 are showing up. This is an acrylic, I think it's actually a baby yarn that I had in my stash. It's very, very soft, and I'm using like a brown, a white, and a sort of caramely color. I won't take it out of the bag because I have lots of strings dangling here, but I'm starting this color work pattern. So I have the ribbing, the 1x1 ribbing done, and now I'm getting into the sort of first pattern here. So it's really fun. I'd like to have this done for this season, just to wear it this winter. It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot easier than I thought, this color work. So if you're trepidatious about getting into color work and knitting, I say just go for it. It's really not as bad as I envisioned it to be. All right, and then thrifting, my last sort of segment of the day for you. I did, like I said, on our trip back, got to stop at an antique store in Omaha. This is called the Brass Armadillo. There's a Brass Armadillo in Des Moines that I go to all the time. This is in Omaha, and I got a really cute mushroom tureen. There was actually like a booth, I'll put in a picture, with all these different mushroom kitchen wares, ceramic kitchenwares, and they had like salt and pepper shakers. I already collect Mowry mushrooms, so I felt like I didn't need to have another set, but the Mowry mushroom soup tureen is really big and really, really expensive. So I saw this mini one for $20, and yeah, knew it had to come home with me. So here it is. I think this is like a set that came just like as a base, and then you could paint it or glaze it yourself. And because at the bottom it says to Iva from Dorotha, 1974. So it seems like something that was mass produced, and then you could customize it yourself. But it's so cute. And then the lid comes off, and there's this little spoon, this little ladle, a little mushroom on the end. It's so precious. So yeah, very happy to add that to my collection. I also got a Gordon Lightfoot album. Is anyone surprised? I don't have that to show because it's across the room here. But some other things I saw. There was a booth that had these sort of funky rainbow animal glazed ceramic pieces. That was interesting. Oh, this collection of owls. I love owls so much. So enjoy those. I found some needlework as per usual. This was a cross stitch piece. I don't have any information on the designer, but it's one I haven't seen before. This little mushroom matches container, which like I would never store matches out in the open like that, but it had me considering it for a second there. More needlework, kitchen clothes due to illness. This little, okay, being that I work with, veterinary microbiology is my major, and the lab I'm in focuses on pigs in particular. Whenever I see something related to swine in an antique store, I gotta take a picture. And I don't know, this little set was particularly appealing. And let's see, there's another needlework piece, this set of, I think it's from the 80s, it was from Japan. The strawberry set is so pretty. And then lastly, this chair, which is so cool. It's like a modular, sort of like an egg chair almost, but I thought it was so cool. I don't even know how much it was. They were moving it up to the front of the store, like someone had just bought it when I was walking in. But that is so cool. My mom found this Little House needlework piece that was converted into a project bag, so she got that. So if you'd like to stick around and look at some pictures from the trip, I think I'll flash some more just landscape pictures at the end of this. I took quite a few. I'll never get over the mountains, and I would love to live in that area someday. But until next time, take care, enjoy your stitching, and I'll see you then. Bye.